Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today we are looking at Yelena Belova's new Black Widow Spy Stealth Black outfit. So this is sort of the inverse of Black Widow, whereas before she got her snowsuit, now she is getting her high ponytail black outfit. And like Black Widow, you can sort of understand the uniforms in a very, rudimentary sense by thinking of this one as the PvP uniform for Timeline Battle, Alliance Conquest, that kind of thing. And this as the PvE uniform, more for World Boss, possibly Shadowland, possibly Squad Battle, and things like that. One good thing to note is that regardless of which uniform you pick up, she does have her 5th skill with a hidden all defense down mechanic. So she has a minus 50% all defense down. It does ignore immunity, so it does apply to world bosses. And it's the same whether you have this uniform or whether you have the snowsuit. But besides that, we do have a pretty stark contrast between the two uniforms for PvP and PvE. And unfortunately, unlike Black Widow, I think that some of the PvP abilities that are sacrificed in this uniform, I think they actually make her a little bit less fun to play. It's not necessarily less fun to play, but I think they do make her a little bit weaker. So I think off the top, I would say that this uniform is better overall, but we'll explain why. So with this uniform, with the snowsuit, right, the main feature in the combo is that her first skill has iframe ignore and does a lot of damage. Her third skill has 7 seconds of invisibility. So because of the 7 seconds of invisibility, even for PvE content, the boss does not move. So I'll show you a really quick demo, and you've seen it if you've seen me playing as Black Widow. The boss just stands there because the boss doesn't have a target. And so you don't have to bring a mind control striker when you're using Snowsuit Yelena because the boss doesn't move. It's really that powerful. The invisibility is a really powerful ability. So we're going to pop the invisibility, and she's not going to move anymore. And now we're going to pop the 5. Actually, this wasn't the best rotation of all time, but we're going to pop the smoke again. Okay, she did one attack. I kind of messed it up a little bit here, but we're going to do the 4th skill and cancel that into 5. And we're going to proc, and then we're going to go into 3. And you can see Proximage doesn't move, right? So this is the value in PvE of even the PvP-centered smoke ability, right? So this is what they take away. This is the main difference between the two uniforms, is that the black uniform for Yelena does not have the smoke. Pop smoke is gone on this uniform. So if we equip it over here and we go here, you can see the aerial explosion now has a bigger buff. It also has a damage proc, increases damage by 70% for one attack. I didn't notice that. It's got a damage proc, and it's got a 55-55 attack and crit rate, which is disgustingly high, which is higher than her 30-30. So she does get an extra 25% all attack. That's definitely going to improve her damage. And of course, the damage proc on aerial explosion is going to improve her damage. But the 7 seconds of invisibility are completely gone. And the iframe ignore on bazooka launch, completely gone. So those are the two biggest nerfs or changes that this uniform brings. There's no iframe ignore and there's no invisibility. But to compensate for that, they did give her an extra 25% crit rate and attack, which is insanely high. And then they also added some abilities where you can sort of cancel them a lot faster. You can cancel her skills a lot faster. They did change around her 5th skill almost completely. So they gave her a pretty much reworked 5th skill and 3rd skill. You will feel like you're playing a different character. And then they gave her, of course, they took away the, they took away the 15% damage decrease and the ignore dodge. And instead they gave her ignore defense and 30% chain hit damage. The 30% chain hit damage is pretty noticeable, especially if you pair it with a CTP of energy. She's going to have wicked damage, like, you're talking plus 55% chain hit damage, which is huge. I was trying to find my words there. But yeah, we're going to go now with the same team, exact same team, and you're going to see how much more damage she does and how the rotation sort of changes. So the really cool thing here is you can sort of delayed cancel 5 and 3. So I'm going to just play out 5 for you guys to see it in action once. It's a pretty cool skill. She goes into an iframe, she does the zip, and then she does sort of a targeting system like Black Widow, and she snipes. And then there's did you see that? That was a really long delayed snipe with the paralysis. So it's pretty cute, and it does a pretty good job of setting up your next proc. And so here's what we're going to do here. We're going to do 5. And as soon as she zips down, you can zip up to 3, and then we're going to proc into 4. And so that is the main combo that she does. And then you can sort of sprinkle in one there. But that is the main combo that she does. She zips down, then she zips up, and then she goes into 4. So you get a ton of chain hit damage. You get a ton of hits. And as you can see, her damage is higher. She's got the paralysis. She's got the all defense down. And she hits like a truck now because that 30% chain hit damage synergizes so well with the fact that multiple skills of her have like an ability where you can cancel them and the effects still happen. So I'm just going to show you a quick demo here in the training of when you want to cancel the skills, because her third skill is really beautiful. She zips up and then she rains down all these bombs, but you can see if you cancel it too early, you don't get the effect. If you cancel it too early, you don't get the effect. So you basically have to wait until she's off screen. As soon as she's off screen, you can cancel into another skill. Oh, I was early there. As soon as she's off screen, you can cancel into another skill and you'll get those bombs. So what you want to do, well, and then with 5, you don't want to cancel there because then you don't get the ability. When she lands, all right, stop. So when she lands, boom, then you can start. As soon as you sort of see the ridicules, the missiles will start coming and the snipes will start coming. So what you want to do is you want to do 5, and then when she lands, you do 3, and then you do 4. And 4 is a long skill where she flips back and she shoots out some lightning, and she pulls out an AK. You can't really see the AK there because she's in the middle of all the goons. But okay, she's still in the middle of all the goons. Let me show you what the AK really looks like. So she's gonna flip over, and then you can see she's sort of shooting with the AK. But that you can see is like 30 or it's like 20 hits. So you stack all those together, and what do you get? You get bibbity boppity boo. So you're gonna boom, boom, and then boom. And so you can see we rack up, you know, over 120, over 140 hits, mostly on 3 targets. So you're talking like almost 50 hits in that combo on one enemy. And that is hugely synergistic with the chain hit damage. The reason why you want to start with 5 as well is because of the accumulation. You don't want to end with 5. You want the accumulation up as soon as possible, and then you want the all defense down up as soon as possible. So that's really what it breaks down. As far as how good she's going to be for other content besides, you know, really heavily focused PvE stuff, it's hard to say. She has the accumulation on her other uniform as well, so you're really just looking at the chain hit damage. And then just the ability to cancel more of the skills. You can't cancel her 3rd skill with the white uniform. You're not going to get the effect. You can cancel her 5th skill, so it's a little bit different. And of course, the buff is not as high. But as you'll see, she finishes this content very quickly. Even when I sort of miss my proc with a CTP of destruction, I don't even have a CTP of rage or anything like that, or even a CTP of energy. But yeah, you can see she like does insane damage. But then of course the downside to this insane damage is I've already taken damage, right? I've already taken damage because she doesn't have the smoke. So, and we're kind of goofing up here, but it's a pretty tight rotation. I think a rage would also be helpful for her because of that. Oh, we missed. Yeah, it's actually a pretty difficult rotation to get down, but the damage is undeniably high, and it's definitely higher than her snowsuit. But then of course the difference in PvP is pretty dramatic. So yeah, I would say she's probably 20 to 30, maybe 40% faster in world boss content. So if you really don't care about PvP and you skip this uniform, then I would definitely say if you have Yelena, you should pick this one up. Overall though, I think I would still side with the white uniform because, you know, this one basically has no value in PvP. She doesn't have iframe ignore. She doesn't have invisibility. So you're basically only relying on the iframe on 5 and 3. And those are kind of short iframes. We can throw her into a little bit of PvP content now so you can see that it's like night and day between these two characters, which is kind of wild because her white suit is so good for PvP. But unfortunately, her black suit just does not keep up. It's not like Black Widow where she can sort of still do both. Losing the invisibility, I think, was the big killer there. If she had kept a little bit of invisibility, I think it would have been okay. But yeah, we're just gonna do 5 here and then hope that she dies. Well, we get the kill here, but as you can see, it's basically just 5 and 3, and yeah, no invisibility, no iframe ignore. I get roasted, right? Without invisibility, without my own iframe ignore, she cannot beat other Black Widows. She cannot beat Yelena's that attack first. And she's basically at the mercy of most other characters who, you know, have higher attack speed, have priority iframes, this kind of stuff. So it's, what? Sweet. Okay. I don't know what that was. Mystique. That was weird. Yeah. So not as excited about this uniform. I mean, the PvE damage, right? The world boss damage is disgusting. It's super high. So I'll wait and see. how people do. I might end up giving her a CTP of energy and just going full PvE for her. But maybe it's a situation where if you have both Black Widow and Yelena, you don't want to use them together on the same team. You don't want to use them both in PvP because they sort of play in a similar fashion. I mean, maybe you do want to use both, but in that case, you sort of have the opportunity to build one for just PvE or just PvP, and then build the other one for just PvE or just PvP. I would personally say that it's probably better to build Black Widow for PvP because she's able to go to tier 3, which means that she's going to have a much higher base HP pool, and she's going to take less damage from tier 2s and things like that than Yelena will, because Yelena caps out at level 70 tier 2. Now, the 7 seconds of invisibility are really powerful, but I think their rotations are pretty much the same between Snowsuit Black Widow and Snowsuit Yelena. And then on the flip side, I don't know who's better for PvE content. Now, Yelena does have the accumulation and the all defense down, which is pretty insane. And now she also has the chain hit damage. Black Widow doesn't have the accumulation, but she does have the chain hit damage and the buff. But she doesn't rely on all defense down to do her damage, right? She just has high raw damage. So it'll be interesting to see if there are, some speed clears of Galactus with Yelena with this new black uniform. With the CTP of energy. She could be sort of like a budget speed character because of the well, she's not free-to-play friendly, but in the sense that she doesn't necessarily need a rage because, almost 60% chain hit damage with the CTP of energy is pretty... Actually, it is 60%. What am I saying? Because you can roll 30%. Yeah, so 60% chain hit damage. That might be the highest in the game, besides Black Widow, who I believe also has 30%. So they basically just flip-flopped their... They basically just flip-flopped their uniform stats. They just didn't play with Yelena's passive in the way that they played with Black Widow's, giving her dodge or physical attack. No, she has 25%. So yeah, Yelena might have the highest chain hit damage in the game now. It really just boils down to how you want to play these players and these characters and where you're going to play them most. But I still think I would give this one a slight edge because it has some PvE value still. It may not be quite as fast as this one, but again, if you're not racing for like top level clears, if you're not trying to speed run, then this is okay, and it's still much easier to play in my opinion because of the fact that you have the 7 seconds of invisibility to just make the boss, stand there and do the T-pose constantly. So I think this one's a little bit less hype than Black Widow just because we haven't seen Black Widow doing much in PvP for a long time, and we sort of had the setup with this one being pretty good for PvP, and now this one is just disgustingly good for PvP. So yeah, let me know what you think of Yelena's black suit. Do you think I'm right about the snowsuit just being better overall? Or do you think that it's worth it with that insane clear speed, having the all defense down, the accumulation, and then the insane 55-55 buff and the canceling? I mean, her skills are really cool with the sniper crosshair and stuff like that. But yeah, hit me in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.